Okay, we're back. Been a while since I've been on live, so let's get into it. Elon Musk, the meltdown. Let's get into it. Hard Talk Radio, live in 4K, fair use.
Just leaving. We talked to Bob Iger
I hope
today.
they stop.
You hope
Don't advertise.
you don't want them to advertise?
No.
What do you mean?
If somebody's going to try to blackmail me with advertising, blackmail me with money,
Blackmail is when you have some incriminating evidence against a person. You tell them, if you don't do such and such, we release this information. What they're doing to you, Elon, is applying pressure. That's what they're trying to do.
go fuck yourself.
But
Go fuck yourself. Is that clear? I hope it is. Hey, Bob, if you're in the audience.
well, let me ask you then.
That's how I feel. Don't advertise.
How do you think then about the economics of X? If part of the underlying model, at least today, and maybe it needs to shift, maybe the answer is it needs to shift away from advertising. If you believe that this is the one part of your business where you will be beholden to those who have this view, what do you do?
F-Y.
I understand that, but there's a reality too, right?
Yes. No.
I mean, Linda Yaccarino's right here, and she's got to sell advertising.
Absolutely. So, totally. So, no. Actually, what this advertising boycott is going to do? It's going to kill the company.
And do you think that
and the whole world will know that those advertisers killed the company, and we will document it in great detail.
But those advertisers, I imagine, are going to say we didn't kill the company.
Oh yeah.
They're going to say
tell it to Earth.
But they're going to say, Elon, that you killed the company because you said these things, and that they were inappropriate things, and that they didn't feel comfortable on the platform, right? That's what they're going to say.
And let's see how Earth responds to that.
I don't think he's getting it. I don't think he's getting it. I think he's very frustrated over the fact that he had to bend the knee, that he had to do, a lot of apologizing. But I can't really feel sorry for Elon, because Elon Musk is the one who gave his satellite technology, Starlink, to Ukraine, who is basically a haven for neo-Nazis. And they have Azov Battalion making up most of their military. And he also has been documented saying the word Nazi isn't what you think it means. Okay. Elon is also for company towns. And if you could look up the history of company towns, it's not a very good history. Elon Musk has also said things about how the AI is we're summoning the demons. All right. He has himself to blame. All right. You know how hot things are right now between Israel and Hamas, and you want to go and click like on a post that is pro, basically, white supremacy. And you forget that you run a business, and your business survives on relationships that are controlled by a certain demographic of people that has a lot of power in this country. Basically, also within the mainstream media and the entertainment industry. Let's keep going.
This goes back to
we'll both make our cases,
right,
and we'll see what the outcome is.
What are the economics of that for you? I mean, you have enormous resources, so you can actually keep this company going for a very long time. Would you keep it going for a long time if there was no advertising?
I mean, if the company fails because of an advertised boycott, it will fail because of an advertised boycott. And that will be what bankrupted the company, and that's what everybody on Earth will know.
But what do you think then of the... Again, this goes back to the idea of trust, though.
Then it'll be gone. And it'll be gone because of an advertised boycott.
But you recognize that some of those people are going to say that they didn't feel comfortable on the platform. And I just wonder and ask you and think about that for a second.
Tell it to the judge.
But the judge is going to be...
The judge is the public.
My thing is like, he was very for pro-Ukraine, which is basically a white supremacist state. You know, European state, Euro state, white supremacist, ethnic Euro state. And very much for them. And then he made the move to click like and support a white supremacist post. A lapse in judgment, perhaps?
And you think that the public is going to say that Disney is making a mistake?
Yes.
And they're going to boycott Disney?
They already are.
Well, there are some that are for lots of different reasons. But you think that this is going to, that you have the, this goes to actually the interesting of power and leverage.
Let the chips fall where they may. Let the chips fall where they may.
Can I ask why that is the approach? And I ask it because you've been
What's the other approach? Well,
you've been very particular about the approach to Tesla. When you think about the engineering involved in that, the approach to SpaceX, the approach to some of the stuff you're doing with AI has been very specific, right? There's not a let the chips fall where they may approach to those businesses, I don't think.
No, we focus on making the best products. And Tesla's gotten to where it's gotten with no advertising at all.
I understand that.
Tesla currently sells twice as much in terms of electric vehicles as the rest of electric car makers in the United States combined. Tesla has done more to help the environment than all other companies combined. It would be fair to say that, therefore, as a leader of the company, I've done more for the environment than everyone else, and any single human on Earth.
How do you feel about that? No,
How do I feel about that?
Yeah, no, I'm asking you personally how you feel about that, because this goes, we're talking about power and influence. And
Elon's business thrives on investors. It'd be very stressful to just fund that company by yourself. Ooh, I mean, he looks so out of place. He looks so lost. He looks so like cornered. It's hard to watch. It is hard to watch this.
I'm saying what I care about is the reality of goodness, not the perception of it. And what I see all over the place is people who care about looking good while doing evil. Fuck them. Okay?
Let me ask you this, because I think part of this, by the way, there's some people who said, look, owning X to begin with has just created problems, that you've created so many amazing things that are changing our world. And I know you want to make X this fabulous town square free speech platform, but that unto itself, that has created such a distraction of all of these things. This is the conversation we're having. We're not focused, or we're not talking at least yet, and we will. On Tesla, you have your Cybertruck deliveries tomorrow and everything else that you're doing. But
yes,
is there any...
it will be the biggest product launch of anything by far on Earth this year.
Is there any part of you, though, that just says, you know what? I just shouldn't have done this, or maybe I should sell it or give it away or do something else?
Good grief, man. That's scary, man. I don't think Elon knows what he's done. I really don't think he knows what he's done. Oh boy, I don't think he knows. You went against a certain demographic. I said before, they control the mainstream media, Hollywood, entertainment industry, acting, sports. Okay. And most of that demographic that works in mainstream media is not going to side with Elon Musk. They know where their bread comes from. And they are not going to go against the grain.
with the X piece of it.
Yeah.
Given the propensity for some of the things that you do and say on that platform to create these issues.
Yeah. Of all the posts I've done on the platform, I think there might be 30,000 or something like that.
Right.
Once in a while, I will say something foolish. And I have. And I would certainly put that comment, that you said the actual truth, among perhaps one of the most foolish, if not the most foolish thing I've ever done on the platform. And I did do my best to clarify afterwards that, I certainly do not mean anything anti-Semitic in that. The nature of the criticism was simply that the Jewish people have been persecuted for thousands of years. There is a natural affinity, therefore, for persecuted groups. This has led to the funding of organizations that essentially promote any persecuted group or any group with the perception of persecution. This includes radical Islamic groups. Everyone here has seen the massive demonstrations for Hamas in every major city in the West. That should be jarring. Well, a number of those organizations received funding from prominent people in the Jewish community. Right. They didn't expect that to happen. But if you generically, right, without condition, sort of fund, if you fund persecuted groups, in general, some of those persecuted groups, unfortunately, want your annihilation.
Yeah, but Elon, you funded a group that wanted the annihilation of Jewish people. You helped them with your satellite technology in war. Okay. Ukraine with its neo-Nazis. And anybody who has a brain knows Nazis don't like Jewish people. They do not like any group that is not of their ethnicity. But let's talk about Tesla. I know I got a little bit way off track, but let's talk about Tesla right now. All right. Fair use.
The Tesla Cybertruck is here. It was announced in 2019, but then there were delays, missteps, and even morbid statements by Elon Musk. But it's finally releasing 4 years later, and that too at a hefty price. In 2019, it was priced at $39,900. Right now, it's selling for a whopping $60,990. That's close to double the original price, and yet the Tesla Cybertruck may not make a lot of money. Elon Musk says it will take at least 18 months for the truck to be a significant cash flow contributor. Our next story tells you why.
In 2019, Tesla's lead designer took to the stage. It was the unveil of the Cybertruck. He had a metal ball in his hand. He threw it at the truck. It was supposed to be a demonstration of the bulletproof glass. But the glass broke, and along with it, Musk's dreams also came shattering down. His beloved Cybertruck was now a meme. It's all people talked about. 4 years later, Franz von Holzhausen got a chance at redemption.
Now, you may remember
an incident 4 years ago. Didn't quite go as planned. And France, maybe we should try it again.
This time, it did not look like a metal ball, more like a basketball. He threw it at the truck. The glass did not break, and that's all that mattered.
Yeah, great. I mean, I think we could probably have a pro pitcher love it if it still work. So anyway, it's the glass is tough, basically. That's what we're saying. So you don't have to worry about like rocks hitting the glass and cracking the glass. This glass is basically rock-proof.
The release of the Tesla Cybertruck comes years after it was planned.
Welcome.
Elon Musk first announced it in 2019, and it caused quite a stir. The prototype evoked the world of Blade Runner or Mad Max. It generated curiosity and buzz. Even if it wasn't universally loved, it has since been Musk's passion project. And the billionaire loves to boast about it. He says it's stronger than bullets and faster than a Porsche.
I should say tougher than bullets. Tow pretty much anything. Faster than a 911 while towing a 911. So, and deliveries begin now. Thank you.
Musk is giddy at the prospects, but not everyone is excited. And that's because of the price point. The electric truck starts selling at $60,990. And this isn't even the original price. The original price was $39,900. Which means the selling price will be almost double. So will the Cybertruck be a money spinner for Elon Musk? The answer is no.
So you have all these problems going on, and you decide to tell your backers to buzz off. Is that a smart move? That's what I want to know. All right. And people are cheering Elon Musk and saying, yeah, Elon Musk is doing the thing, man. He's going to be a hero. No, because if he keeps on this route, you won't have Twitter. Okay? And relationships are the lifeblood of any business, any thriving, profitable, successful business. Okay? And Elon Musk is learning this the hard way. He's basically bent the knee. He is basically has to think quick. What is he going to do? Because Tesla might not beat Tesla anymore. And his so-called friend doing the interview is saying you may have to sell Tesla. Who knows? Maybe that, these people, they are very brutal when it comes to you coming against them or you making the wrong move with them. They won't stop until you are broken. Look what they did with Kyrie Irving. Look what they did with Kanye West. That's all I got to say about that. All right. Let's move on to the next story. Let's talk about what Israel has known about Hamas.
We learned that Israel, in fact, knew about...
Fair use, by the way.
We learned that Israel, in fact, knew about Hamas's plan to attack for over a year before it happened. They knew the extent, they knew the scope, they knew the scale, they knew the strategy, they knew the tactics, and they knew the targets, but still decided to turn a blind eye. This is according to the New York Times. The Israeli government intercepted a 40-page document, in fact, that they codenamed Jericho Wall. Jericho Wall outlined point by point exactly the kind of devastating invasion that led to the deaths of about 1,200 people. Israeli officials privately concede that had the military taken these warnings seriously and redirected significant reinforcements to the south where Hamas attacked, Israel could have blunted the attacks or possibly even prevented them. Earlier this year, in July, just 3 months before the attacks, a veteran analyst with Unit 8200, which is Israel's signal intelligence agency, warned that Hamas had conducted an intense day-long training exercise that appeared similar to what was outlined in the blueprint. Israeli security officials have already acknowledged that they failed to protect the country, and the government is expected to assemble a commission to study the events leading up to the attacks. Remember, in 1973, Golda Meir was ousted from her position as prime minister because she failed to intercept and prevent the preemptive strike from Egypt and Syria against Israel.
And this is why you have many people protesting now to want Benjamin Netanyahu out of office. New York Times admitted Israel knew about Hamas attack 1 year in advance. New York Times admitted that Israel knew about the Hamas attack at least 1 year before it took place October 7th. According to shocking new report, Israeli intelligence ignored substantial evidence that was handed to them about the impending attack. The plan reportedly shows that Hamas plotted the attack and acted on their blueprint with zero resistance from the Israeli government. The approximately 40-page document, which Israel authorities codenamed Jericho Wall, outlined point by point exactly the kind of devastating invasion that led to deaths of about 1,200 people. The translated document, which was reviewed by the New York Times, did not set a date before the attack, but described a methodological assault designed to overwhelm the fortifications around the Gaza Strip, take over Israel cities, and storm key military bases, including a division headquarters. Hamas followed the blueprint with shocking precision. The document called for a barrage of rockets at the outset of the attack, drones to knock out the security cameras, and automated machine guns along the border, and gunmen to pour into Israel en masse in paragliders, on motorcycles, and on foot, all of which happened October 7th. I could have imagined that carnage. RedState.com reports the document further reveals that Hamas had studied the location and size of the Israeli military forces and communication hubs. There was so much detail and inside information that some are questioning whether they were leaks from inside the Israeli military or government. It's unknown if Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu saw the plans, although the Israel Defense Forces did take note of increased Hamas training activities, and they did not think they pose a huge threat. Wow. It would appear they vastly underestimated the military and planning capabilities of the Hamas and their willingness to cold-bloodedly murder thousands of Israeli citizens, often more than happy to give up their own lives in the effort. It was a costly mistake. Officials privately concede that had the military taken these warnings seriously and redirected significant reinforcements to the south, where Hamas attacked Israel, could have blunted the attacks or even possibly prevented them. The Hamas planning document opens with the quote from the Quran: "Surprise them with the gate through the gate. If you do, you will certainly prevail." It is a quote they often use in videos and propaganda in the days since October 7th. They certainly achieved that goal. Israel has acknowledged some of its intelligence failures and has plans to set up a commission to figure out what went wrong. You know what went wrong. You had a female Israeli soldier telling you in advance what was going to happen, and you threatened her with prison time. If the above document is genuine and the government and military had exact blueprint for the massacres and subsequent hostage taken in their hands, there are going to be many repercussions. It would be wiser to never to underestimate Hamas again. I mean, yeah, it's just a sad thing all around. Increasingly sad. All right. And it's just I don't know what to say, man. I really don't know. Really don't know. But let's get into the Zelensky issue. All right. What do you mean? What are you talking about? Let's just say they've taken some things out of Jeffrey Epstein's playbook. Fair use. Second. All right.
Zelensky insider has blown the whistle on an elite paedophile ring operating in the heart of the New World Order-sponsored Ukrainian government. According to the whistleblower, the wife of Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky is operating a child sex trafficking network in which displaced Ukrainian children are offered to VIP paedophiles around the world. In a report published by the Intel Drop, a former employee of Elena Zelenska's nonprofit provided foundation documents, along with his personal work ID card, to add credibility to his allegations. He's now calling on authorities in the US, France, Germany and the UK to conduct a large-scale investigation into the activities of the foundation. But rather than investigating the claims, the authorities and mainstream media are working overtime to cover up the crimes he has exposed. Let's quickly recap what we know about the couple, who enjoy posing for Vogue photo shoots while the country's at war. This week, an independent investigation revealed that Zelensky's two closest associates recently purchased two luxury yachts, one in Abu Dhabi and the other in France in October 2023. The total cost is estimated at $75 million. According to the documents, the first yacht, the 46-metre Italian-made Lucky Me, was bought by Boris Shafir for $25 million on October the 18th, 2023. Serhiy Shafir, who's been Zelensky's closest aide since the beginning of his presidency, became the nominal owner of the yacht My Legacy, worth a cool $50 million. But it's not just yachts, shopping sprees in Paris and New York, Vogue photo shoots, and luxurious villas around the world. According to the Zelensky Foundation whistleblower, the Zelenskys are also deeply involved in child trafficking to some of the most evil people in the world. Olena Zelenska launched the foundation in New York City back in September 2022, alongside suspected human trafficker Hillary Clinton, and Hollywood celebrities Matt Damon, Jimmy Fallon, and others. In the video uploaded by the whistleblower, he says he's speaking out to expose what's happening within the Olena Zelenska Foundation based on his own personal experience. We've got his bombshell testimony after this important word from our sponsor.
C'était voilà en France. Moi, j'avais un ami là-bas voilà, qui travaillait avec différentes
So he had a friend that was trying to get him a job. That's how it went down.
fondations et c'est lui qui m'a dit, il m'a dit voilà que en Ukraine il y a une fondation voilà qui paye bien, qui propose de bonnes conditions. Alors voilà, je me suis dit pourquoi pas voilà. J'ai écrit voilà, j'ai contacté cette fondation et voilà, après j'ai fait mes documents et je suis allé là-bas en Ukraine. Quand je suis venu là-bas pour travailler comme chauffeur. Voilà, on m'a proposé ce job et voilà, j'ai signé un contrat. En fait, voilà, ce contrat, il était déjà quelque chose, j'ai senti quelque chose de bizarre, c'était déjà dans le contrat. Il y avait, voilà, des points, par exemple, dans le contrat, on disait qu'on ne doit pas parler avec les enfants, on ne doit pas poser des questions sur les familles d'accueil et tout ça. Bon, pour moi, c'était bizarre, mais je me suis dit, bon, comme je suis chauffeur, peut-être que, voilà, c'est pas mon affaire. Bon, j'ai signé le contrat. Après avoir signé le contrat, on m'a donné un laissez-passer. Voilà, c'était celui-là, voilà, vous voyez. Voilà, un laissez-passer.
Next, the man explains the job was very simple at first, as he would take children from Ukrainian cities and bring them to orphanages, who were in league with Olena Zelenska's foundation. All of the orphanages associated with the foundation were in Europe, from Germany to France and England.
The thing is also, you can't forget that the Ukraine has a a child trafficking problem. Okay, it's been I believe it's been in the news in 2013, 2014. Okay. Wow. Ukraine is one of also the corrupt nations in the world, one of the most corrupt nations in the world.
Some of the host families reportedly live in really fancy neighborhoods in Berlin, London, and France. This is where the man's story becomes very dark.
À propos de cette avenue, voilà, ce qui s'est passé, je suis venu dans cette avenue Foch et je suis venu avec un enfant. Ici, j'ai des documents voilà, que je vais vous envoyer après sur email. Voilà, j'étais avec cet enfant. Voilà, lui, c'était Dmitro. Je l'ai amené vers la famille qui se trouve sur l'avenue Foch. Un monsieur qui sort, lui, il était vraiment déjà un monsieur âgé et il est sorti à moitié nu et vraiment déjà surpris ce qui se passe. Il a fait un clin d'œil à l'enfant, il a pris comme ça par la main, il a signé les documents et tout ça, et ça y est, et il a fermé la porte. Là, je me suis dit que il fallait déjà vraiment, voilà, à ce moment-là, il fallait déjà prendre conscience que quelque chose va mal. Mais bon, je me suis dit que bon, ça arrive, qui sait.
A few days after dropping Dmitro off with the half-naked man, the whistleblower took another child, Vladimir, from an orphanage to a host family. The man says he had brought Vladimir to another host family just weeks before, and that he tried asking the boy why he was already going to a new home.
Qu'est-ce qu'il fait là-bas? Qu'est-ce qu'il fout dans l'orphelinat si il devait déjà être dans sa famille? Alors, bon, je lui posais la question. Voilà, j'ai essayé de communiquer avec lui en anglais. Je lui ai dit ce qui se passe. Lui, il m'a dit que lui, en fait, ça y est, vraiment, il a commencé à pleurer. Voilà, moi, j'étais choqué de ce qui se passe. Je lui ai dit que je dois t'emmener vers la famille. Il a commencé à pleurer. J'ai compris que lui, il veut pas y aller. Voilà. Et nous, déjà, à ce moment-là, on était en voiture. Je savais pas quoi faire. Est-ce que je dois l'emmener vers la famille ou bien on doit revenir à l'orphelinat? Pourquoi il ne veut pas y aller? Voilà, j'ai rien compris ce qui se passe avec lui. Et puis après aussi, il a commencé à faire, vous savez, des gestes comme quoi, voilà, euh, comme j'ai compris sur geste, comme quoi, voilà, il fait des gestes et il me montre que on l'a touché dans des endroits intimes. Oh, j'ai compris, voilà, que non, vraiment, c'est affreux, voilà, là, à ce moment-là, j'ai compris tout ce qui se passe. C'était vraiment, c'est affreux ce qui s'est passé avec lui. Je me suis dit, bon, calme-toi.
Take a look at this photo of Dmitro, Vladimir, and other Elena Zelensky Foundation children in this image provided by the whistleblower. He then says that he began looking through documents to understand what was going on and to find information about the home where the child was allegedly molested.
J'ai commencé à chercher les documents et à chercher aussi la famille qu'il avait accueillie avant. Et là, je trouve un nom, voilà, que c'était un certain monsieur qui s'appelait Bernard-Henri Lévy. Je ne connaissais rien sur ce monsieur, alors j'ai tapé sur Internet, voilà, pour voir qui c'est, voilà, de savoir sur s'il a un Facebook ou bien quelque chose comme ça. Et après, voilà, j'ai trouvé des informations sur lui. Et dans ces informations, j'ai compris que lui, il est dans tout cet entourage des pédophiles, qu'il tient en contact avec eux. Voilà, j'ai compris tout le schéma voilà, qu'ils font là-bas dans cette fondation. Vraiment, ce qui se passe là-bas, c'est horrible. Voilà. Je me suis viré tout de suite car là, dans le trafic sexuel d'enfants, là, non, merci, je ne veux pas participer. C'est pour ça que voilà que maintenant je fais pour vous cette vidéo.
It turns out Bernard Henri Lévy is a French filmmaker and writer who donated his work royalties to the Zelensky Foundation. According to the New Yorker, Levy has sparked controversy for a number of his stances, including his criticism of the rape cases against the film director Roman Polanski, who pleaded guilty to statutory rape in 1978 and fled to France to avoid imprisonment, and Dominique Strauss-Kahn, the former managing director of the International Monetary Fund. Strauss-Kahn, a friend of Levy's, has been repeatedly accused of sexual misconduct. The truth is much darker than the New Yorker is allowed to publish. Last September, President Zelensky asked controversial artist Marina Abramović.
This is the same Marina Abramović who did a music video with Jay-Z. Just remember that. Okay? This goes deep. All right? All those conspiracy theories, they're conspiracy facts when it comes to this situation going on right here. All right. And this is wild, man. But a lot of people are still going to side with Zelensky, side with Ukraine. Okay. Say that they're helpless, Zelensky's a good person and his wife is a good person too. The Ukrainian version of Bill and Hillary Clinton. That's what I'm seeing here. All right. And it falls on deaf ears. Just like the truth about the Israeli Hamas situation. Okay. People didn't want to hear about that. People definitely not want to hear about, the truth, the horror stories about Ukraine. And that's basically what it's about. Okay. Now we have another one about Pizzagate. Second. Sorry about that. And this one is about a Vice journalist, Vice, the company that, is pretty much for pedophiles, they support pedophilia. Vice journalist who said Pizzagate was fake news. Okay. Look what he's charged with. Okay. In prison for child rape. All right. All right, let's just get into the video. Make this quick.
The FBI lawyers in court who also quietly revealed that paedophiles connected to an elite paedophile ring are under active investigation and mass arrests are imminent. Revelations from a Houston, Texas courtroom in the case of a local educator caught up in a Pizzagate-themed paedophile ring have completely destroyed the mainstream media's long-standing cover-up of the Pizzagate scandal. Chalk this one up as more vindication for so-called conspiracy theorists to Pizzagate, who previously tried to cover up the scandal as a conspiracy theory. The latest Pizzagate-connected figure, Clint Herndon, worked at Texas A&M and was arrested on a sickening array of child sex and pornography charges earlier this month. According to a statement by the FBI, Herndon was using many of the same words we caught Hillary Clinton campaign chair John Podesta using in his bizarre emails to other members of the global elite, including pizza, walnut sauce, Domino's, and hot dogs. Are we still expected to believe the mainstream media when they tell us that it's all just a big coincidence? We've obtained an FBI affidavit from a special agent assigned to the case, and the details behind Herndon's arrest are absolutely disgusting. I'm not going to read out the entire text due to the extremely graphic nature of the details, but the document reveals that the FBI are on the same page as so-called conspiracy theorists, and that elite paedophiles who've been caught using Pizzagate code words and images are no longer safe from prosecution. The truth is starting to leak out. The day is coming when the mainstream media will be no longer to deny Pizzagate is, and always was, all too real. According to White Hat FBI agents, mass arrests are on the horizon. In fact, they've already begun, starting with the propagandists who covered up the greatest criminal scandal of our time. We've got the details after this quick break. Over 500 children. Former Democrat College Park, Maryland Mayor Pat Rohan, who was one of Transportation Secretary Pete Buttigieg's closest friends, was sentenced to 150 years in federal prison on Monday. A well-connected Democrat politician convicted of child sex crimes would have been unthinkable just a few years ago. But the dominoes have started to fall. Former CNN producer and proud paedophile John Griffin, who argued that a woman is a woman regardless of her age, was also found guilty of disgusting child sex crimes and sentenced to 19 years in prison. Now it's the turn of the chief propagandists in the mainstream media, who covered up the Pizzagate scandal for years. Mainstream journalist, fact-checker and close friend of John Podesta, who previously bragged about debunking Pizzagate and misleading the public, was also arrested on a sickening slew of child rape charges. Wohan pled guilty in August to 140 counts of possessing and distributing a sickening array of child rape videos.
There has to be an investigation into Pete Buttigieg. There has to be an investigation. You are friends with this man. There needs to be an investigation of what type of communications they had online and on his phone. Voicemail messages, everything.
Videos. The Baltimore Sun listed Wohan's crimes as possession with intent to distribute and distribution of material that exploits children, a mixture of misdemeanors and felonies with maximum penalties ranging from 5 to 10 years incarceration. Prosecutors argued that Wohan had victimized over 500 children worldwide, 52 of which were identified by the National Center for Missing and Exploited Children. Ex-owner Elon Musk was taken aback by the massive number of children abused by Wohan, remarking, 500 victims, what the hell? Democrat politicians, mainstream journalists and fact-checkers are facing justice for their crimes. Prominent people are now talking about Pizzagate, and according to the FBI insider, this is just the tip of the iceberg. When historians look back on this era, it will be remembered as the time the globalist elite became arrogant, revealed their hand and began to lose their grip on power. The elite
been saying this for years. They have been saying this for years. What's been going on? All right. People have to protect their kids. Evil is real out here. It is very real. And we have a president right now that is working to try to make evil normalized. Okay? That's what's going on. But let's get into some other news. All right. Okay, 1 minute. What's going on in Africa right now? Even though I kind of don't agree with this in a way, because China has really treated Africans like crap, but I understand why they're doing it. African nations turn to China after West halts funding over anti-gay law. Uganda wants to borrow $150 million to expand its internet infrastructure. Uganda is seeking a loan from China after the World Bank blocked financing for connectivity due to adoption of an anti-homosexuality law in the country. Reuters has reported the East African country wants to borrow $150 million from China's Export-Import Bank, Exim, to help develop its internet infrastructure, the news agency said, citing Uganda's finance ministry. Junior finance minister and the minister for information asked lawmakers on Monday to authorize the debt The ministry wrote on X, formerly known as Twitter. This move reflects Kampala's increasingly reliance on Chinese leaders after the World Bank suspended all new funding programs to Uganda in August. The Washington-based institution made the decision after President Yoweri Museveni signed the Anti-Homosexuality Act. Western critics have noted that the new law makes aggravated homosexuality a capital offense and imposes penalties of up to life in prison for consensual same-sex relations. According to the ministry, the loan from Exim will finance the supply, installation, commissioning, and support of the national data transmission backbone infrastructure. Uganda previously borrowed $200 million from China to expand the country's main airport in Entebbe. It is also in talks with Exim and Chinese export credit agency Sinosure for another loan to finance the construction of a pipeline to help the country export crude oil to international markets. All right. I don't have I understand the issue. Okay. I understand the issue why. All right. Africa, Uganda, particularly, are trying to protect their children. Okay. Unlike in the Western countries where children are offered up on the altar of a pervert's sexual desires. Okay. They have every right to protect their kids and to protect them from predators within their country. All right. People say, "Oh, it's harsh. It's harsh." No, it's not harsh. Because they understand what's going on. All right. And I definitely back Russia. Russia banned adoption to pro-transformer countries. A top MP behind the initiative says its goal is to make sure children are raised in normal families. Russian lawmakers have prepared a bill that would ban the adoption of children by citizens of countries where sex change is allowed, a top MP has said. The measure is justified because there's no way to guarantee that a foster child won't end up in a gay family if one of the parents decides to transition to another sex. Vasil Peskarev, the head of the Russian State Duma's Committee on Security and Countering Corruption, said on Monday, adoption by same-sex couples have been outlawed in the country since 2013. The new bill proposed to prohibit the adoption of a child by foreign citizens in case their state allows gender reassignment, both by producing the appropriate identification papers or by using medical and other kinds of interventions, he explained. Piskarev stressed that the draft law basically aims to ban adoption by those from NATO members states, as most countries that allow same-sex marriage are NATO countries. Russian lawmakers must make sure that a foster child grows up and develops in a normal family where there's a biological father and a mother, the MP who represents the ruling United Russia Party said. In July, Russian President Vladimir Putin signed a law banning sex change interventions. The administration of drugs and surgeries associated with gender reassignment therapy is now only permitted in Russia in cases that require treatment of reproductive organ deformities in children. Decisions on those procedures are made by clinics that have special license from the Russian Health Ministry, according to the legislation. State Duma Speaker Vashev, I can't pronounce this name, defended the ban on sex changes, saying that it was introduced to protect the country from what he called the Western transgender industry. Woludin mentioned the example of the U.S., where he said the number of gender reassignment surgeries has grown by 50 times over the past decade. This is the path leading to the degradation of a nation, the speaker insisted. According to data from the Russian Health Ministry, more than 2,000 people legally changed their sex in the country between 2018 and 2022, when the practice was still legal. I can't knock Russia, and I can't knock Uganda. All right? They are doing what they have to do to protect their country and their country's citizens. Fortunately, in Western countries like in America and in Europe, children are not safe. They're definitely not safe. All right. But let's talk about how Asians are now facing the backlash because they chose to listen to the lies of white supremacy when it came to affirmative action. Let's get into that.
Oh, look at that. Asian Americans signing on to be used as tools of white supremacy to dismantle affirmative action did nothing to address the discrimination faced by Asian Americans in college admissions. Because dismantling affirmative action didn't address the fact that selective colleges admit Asian American applicants at a rate 28% less than similarly qualified white applicants. It's almost like the discrimination faced by Asian Americans in college admissions never had anything to do with black students or affirmative action, and had everything to do with legacy admissions and the choices that colleges make to discriminate against Asian Americans in order to give preferential treatment to lesser qualified white students. If only black people had tried to warn us. Oh wait, they did.
Boom! Right there. Right there. But you looked at us as that we were dirt. We don't know anything. That model minority stuff. Same thing with the Indians. Now, they're Asian too. They fall under the Asian umbrella. They thought they were better than blacks, but look what happened to you. Now you're crying, you're booing, you're hollering because the white people, the white supremacy revealed their true colors. They don't like you either. And you're the ones being fetishized on the job. You're the ones that you train your less qualified white counterparts. And they get the positions in the company. They get to practically own the company one day. And you are still just the worker bee. Let's look into another one. Can't make this up, man. Cannot make this up. Another one.
Hi, fellow Asian Americans. Are you happy that you struck down affirmative action, which you thought was the reason why your kids or you yourself aren't getting into those top schools in America? Because it kind of looks like it's not helping that you struck it down. Because all it did was give the opportunity for more white legacy students to be enrolled and admitted to these top schools that you wanted your kids to go to. And it only hurt like the black students that wanted to get into these schools and the Hispanic/Latin Americans that also applied to these schools. And this article shows that, your lawsuit against affirmative action did not help Asian Americans at all.
Basically, that's what happens. Okay. White supremacy will fill the heads of, lighter skinned minorities that they're better than their black counterparts. And then when white supremacy gets what they want, kick you to the curb. And they do it with every ethnicity. Hell, even Native Americans, all right? When they fought they fought with the South to keep slavery a way of life over blacks. And look what happened to them. But hey, that's what they do, man. They fill your head up with that nonsense that you're better than another minority. Here we go. Post-affirmative action, Asian American families are more stressed than ever about college admissions. The admissions consultant described what it takes to get into elite college, take 10 to 20 advanced placement courses, create a showstopper project. Asian American students need to be extremely strategic in how they present themselves to avoid anti-Asian discrimination. The consultant Sasha Chada of Ivy Scholars said at the October webinar to an audience of mostly Asian parents and students. Edward Yen, who doesn't consider himself a tiger parent, wondered what extreme accomplishments his 11-year-old daughter will need to get into USC, considered a relatively show-in back in the 1990s when he attended. I appreciate the honesty, Yen said of Chada's presentation, which was co-hosted by the Los Angeles County Asian American Employees Association and the nonprofit Faith and Community Empowerment. In the first college application season since the U.S. Supreme Court struck down affirmative action, Asian American students are more stressed out than ever. Race-conscious admissions were widely seen to have disadvantaged them, as borne out by disparities in the test scores of admitted students. But many feel that race will still be a hidden factor and that standards are even more opaque than ever. You asked for this. You fell for the lie. Pull yourself up by your bootstraps. Okay, you fell for that lie when they don't pull themselves up by their bootstraps. At seminars like Chada's around Southern California this fall, some held in Korean or Mandarin for immigrant parents, consultants reinforced the message. Even students with superhuman qualifications are regularly rejected from Harvard and UC Berkeley. Parents who didn't grow up in the American system, who may have moved to the U.S. in large part of their children's education, feel desperate and in the dark. Some shell out tens of thousands of dollars for consultants as early as junior high, fearing that anything less than a name brand school could doom their children to an uncertain future. Sometimes anxious students are the ones who ask their parents to hire a consultant. Some consultants say they try to push schools that fit the students best, not necessarily the top-ranked ones. Even as skeptics wonder whether they are scaremongering in an attempt to drum up business. But especially for parents from countries like South Korea, China, and India, where a single exam determines a student's college choices, the lack of objective standards can be overwhelming. The worst part of stress comes out when kids feel helpless, not when someone sets a high bar for them, said Chada, whose Indian father grew up in Northern Ireland. Yen pointed out that going to a top college is no guarantee for career success, with Asian Americans overrepresenting at many campuses, yet underrepresented in leadership positions in government and other workplaces. What did I tell you about that? What did I say? A lot of our Asian parents are thinking it's a golden ticket if you're able to get into Harvard or Yale, said Yen, president of Los Angeles County Asian American Employees Association, who lives in San Marino and whose parents immigrated from Taiwan. I just want my daughter to be healthy, safe, and I want her to be successful in life. Sharanka Nagarin, a 52-year-old manager at DirecTV and an immigrant from India, has been nudging his daughter to shoot for the top schools like Harvard. Samrika, a senior at El Songungo High, has a 4.4 GPA and has taken 7 AP courses, which she said was the maximum number offered at her school. She is captain of the varsity swim team and is working on a research project about the role of race in college basketball recruiting. After asking teachers and school counselors to read her admissions essays, Sarantha decided to hire a private counselor. But she ended up not using the counselor's suggestions because they didn't feel like her voice. Sarantha said her hopes got a little bit higher after the Supreme Court's decision, but with her last name, she said, you actually fill out the application and realize there's no way colleges won't figure out what race you are. Wow. So basically, you got to thank your fellow Asians for letting white supremacy just, kick you down the stairs. They have you hoping and scraping and clawing like a slave for a better life, hoping that your white master will give you some crumbs. That's what I'm seeing here. This is sad, man. This is extremely sad. And I'm not even going to read anymore. You could look up the article for yourself. We have to understand we live in a white supremacist society. I'm not a Democrat. I'm not a Republican. I'm a realist. Okay? I'm a conservative, but I'm very much a realist. And I will say I'm an independent conservative because I have my own mind. I am not brainwashed by Republican or Democrat. I look at the facts. It's going to get to a point where you're really going to see the hierarchy when it comes to ethnicity in this country. And you're going to see it's white at all costs. It's white at all costs. And that ethnic groups have to come together to understand when there is something for you like affirmative action, you make sure all of you benefit. Because an attack on one ethnic group is an attack on all ethnic groups. But unfortunately, we will not have that type of mindset. All right, that's all I got for now. Anything you want to know about this channel in the description box, like, share, comment, and subscribe. Later.